everyone, this is Melanie from Melanie B's Creative Studio, and I have a new painting for you, and this is a Schipper. I know the box looks a lot different, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this I thought was gonna be about, you know, this big. I thought it was gonna be a baby-sized one, and like an 11 by 14 size, but instead it looks like it's gonna be a 16 by 20-ish size. This one is called Idyllic, but it's, you know, in German. So it is whatever this says, Village Ideal, you know, so however you want to pronounce that. But I feel like the contents are going to be the same. And I'm not going to know until I actually open the bad boy up and we take a look. Oh, I can already tell you the box is different. So let's take a look at the back. There are other techniques here, it looks like. The new flat brush painting technique, the way to an artistic painting. And it's also going to give you some techniques over here about using the flat brush to create these kinds of effects. This is cool. So it's totally different than the ones that we've done. And what they're doing is they're adding texture, which, you know, I've done in Norgeson pieces, but I have not done on something like a Schipper. So let me open this up. And let's take a look at the contents. Woo. It was attached, scared me. Oh, that's pretty cool. So they've actually given us a board to try those techniques on with our flat brush, which is fantastic. I love that. I mean, it's because what it's doing is giving you exactly the same format that you're going to practice on as you're going to paint on. So that is really cool. This one is just giving you information if you have any problems with the paints. So it looks like these paint pots are going to be a little different from what the instructions are telling me. Oh, okay. And this kit, they're giving us the round brush, but they're also giving us the flat brush like they showed in the demonstration on practicing those techniques. So that is super cool. And it looks like our numbers for our paint pots are in here. Let me go ahead and get those out. I have blisters forming on my fingertips because of the last video I did having 4 paintings and the paint pots were a bitch to open. Excuse me for saying so, but just keeping it real. You know how I do. We have 36 paints in this kit, you guys. Look at them. All right. Fabulous. So we're going all the way from pastels up to brights, and oh, I love it. I love it. Here is our reference guide, which we all know we love. So that's pretty cool. It's shaded in a different way. All right, so here, the motif Village Ideal is painted with 30 colors. The packing includes 6 rows of paints with 6 containers each, marked A, B, C, D, E, and F. Please stick the self-adhesive numbers on the containers in the following order and mark the lids of the additional colors in F as number 2, 4, 5, 8, 9, 13 with a waterproof felt tip pencil. I'm sure they meant pen. Spare paints are in the, okay. All right, so I'm glad I read that because I'd have been going, what? I'd have been marking them as 31, 32, 33, 34. Yeah, I would have done it wrong. So in this kit, and I probably should check my other kits, make sure I haven't done the same thing because I'm an idiot. But this kit, this set of pots is are gonna be second pots. So like they said, we're just going to take a Sharpie or something and mark on the top the numbers of the spare paints. So in this one, for an example, we're just gonna follow what they have in the instructions. And I will probably replace that with a sticker to be a little bit more permanent. Where am I? Okay, I'm just gonna do that for now. So when I swatch them, I'll know. I won't have to swatch this set. So that was good to know before I started preparing my paints. And let's take a look at the canvas real quick and see if there's anything different about that since this is a different kit altogether. Oh, okay, so it is color coded. So each element or section of elements is color coded. but that just helps us with our reference. Now I'm just gonna tell you guys, this looks like a super easy beginner's piece. For those of you who are like, how do I start? I don't know which kit to buy. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't like the tiny spaces. They're super intimidating. Okay, guys, look at these spaces. There are no tiny spaces. I really honestly believe that this number 18 might be your smallest space. Like, everything looks like it's bigger than that. And that is awesome. First of all, it's gonna be easier to fill up. It's gonna take less time. You're gonna be able to see and get into the detail that you need. So definitely a great beginner's piece. I'm excited about this one. I wasn't really wanting this piece. Like, this wasn't on my wish list, but it was $7.99, you guys, for a 40 by 50 centimeter piece with all the same stuff. I just wanted it for the paints alone. And you know, maybe the paints aren't as good in this set. I'm gonna check that out right quick. But you know, for $8, I mean, just the paint brushes are worth that. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna number our paints, I'm going to swatch them, and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about what I found when I swatch these paints and whether they're as good as all the other kits that I have from Schipper. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. And that took a small portion of my life. Because let me explain what I mean by that. So I'm starting to think the reason this was clearance was because I imagine that Schipper paintings and box paintings have a shelf life. And if they've been sitting on the shelf X number of months, then I'm sure a company is probably like, let's just, you know, reduce these down in price. Let's get them sold so that at least they can get back a little money. But the paints were clumpy, and I'm going to insert a picture right here. And that shows you what they look like. Now, not all of them look like that. Some of them were just kind of separated and were not blended well. But so the one that I just showed you, this is what it looks like now. So you can see, let me get some light. All right, there you go. See how creamy it is? So what had happened is a lot of the paint had been stuck up in the top and it was starting to solidify. So I scooped it out with my metal stirrers that I absolutely don't know how I ever did without. And I scooped that in there and then I stirred it up. Now, another trick that I did is I added a drop or two of Flow Aid in each of the pots that had the big clumpy stuff in here. And I closed them all up. And after I did all of them, I went back to the beginning ones and I started stirring and swatching. So about half of these had kind of thickened up a little bit. Not beyond use at all. It just took some time to get them prepped in, you know, in the consistency that I need them to be. So they're perfect now. Like, I got beautiful results after a little bit of work. Let's talk about the palette, because there are 30 colors, and the only one that I can tell, actually there's two that are semi-opaque, are these two right here, number 4, number 5. So you guys, like, even though the paints were in questionable shape when I got it, I did not look at this. I did not open them up and go, oh my God, my life is over because I'll never be able to use these paints. I worked with them. I got them into a perfect consistency. I didn't spend, you know, hours and hours on that. To me, these paints are worth doing that for, because when this painting is done, and I don't really see this painting particularly taking a lot of paint, this entire palette is going into my stash for replacing other paints and other kits that might need it. So that is it on the paints. So I'm going to gesso this bad boy, and I don't know when it's going to be that I'll work on it. It is such an easy looking piece that I almost want to just jump right in. But since this wasn't one of the ones that I had in my plan to do for updating, you know, on companies, I'm going to try to resist it. But this was a really pretty one, and I feel like it would be a super fast one to do. That's going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys joining me. Be sure to give me a thumbs up on my video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, join us on Patreon and on Facebook. And I will see you back soon. Thanks as always for watching.